This one's for the real MTs. I'm not a rapper, I'm a real MC. I don't have no tails, I'm a human being. I admit the mess and I sell it clean. Yeah, I know I'm nice and I tell it mean. I'm making off, but you selling means, that's jealousy. I'm making my stand, but you wanna cripple me? Tell me I'm a guest and try to little bro me. Acting like the door's hot, but that shit is low key. Don't poke at me, ho. I got dope with me, flows, spit dope on me, coaches. You know the team pro.
Whoever sees this and subscribes right now will get a free compliment. How good does that sound? What's going on, YouTube? It's Knox Hill, and we're back with our reaction series. So today, as promised, we are going to dive back into the world of epic rap battles. Now, you guys know we did our very first epic rap battle on this channel. I tell you what, man, that was a lot longer of a reaction than I thought it was gonna be. But man, was it a ride. I really enjoyed it, and judging from the comments and the response, you guys enjoyed it too. And you know I read the comments, the good, the bad, the ugly, the troll. So there's another one that you have requested that I feel like will be a good second one for us to do. I'm talking about Eastern versus Western philosophy. Now look, guys, the reason I want to do this one is because I did study some philosophy in school. I've always excelled at it. I don't know why. Maybe this is the inner nerd coming out in Knox, but I've even tried to read Plato's Republic on my own, some of Nietzsche's works, and yeah, quite a few from Western philosophers, and I've also read Eastern philosophers as well. One of the earlier books that I read was actually Art of War, and I've always been sort of infatuated with that kind of things. Yes, I know, I'm a dangerous person. But anyways, we got ERB up today. If you guys like the song in the intro, yes, I am a rapper. There's a reason why people think these breakdowns are so good, because I use a lot of my rap knowledge and influence. So if you guys want to support me and support this channel directly, I have a brand new album, 20 tracks, called Chaos Theory, that I released. I will put that link below so you guys can go check it out and support. But anyways, ERB, East versus West. I'm ready. Step up to the plate. Let's see what you got.
Rap battles of history. Lao Tzu, Sun Tzu, and Confucius.
Hey, I commented on this on the last start to ERB. I just love that voice. I don't know how you do it. I want to mimic it. I feel like it would be really cool, and also I'd get made fun of, but I don't really care. If I can figure that out, don't be surprised if that's how I start one of these intros. But anyways, here we go. We're back with ERB. So we're introducing Confucius, right? Chinese philosopher. Actually, all three of them were Chinese, aren't they? Sun Tzu, who wrote The Art of War, right? Military general. Dealing with your enemy. Striking first, no mercy. These type of principles that have been applied to military science throughout the years. So that's a very interesting combination, because you've got Confucius, who's, very disciplined, very, organizing things into systems, respecting your elders, respecting nature, the world around you, all of these principles. Same with Lao Tzu as well, with Taoism, following the Tao, the way, the oneness, with harmony with oneself and the world, yin and yang. So here we go. That's the Eastern side, right? Western side.
Lao Tzu, Sun Tzu, and
Sun Tzu.
Confucius.
Love that chop.
Nietzsche, Socrates, and Voltaire.
Hey, hold up before we jump into this. All right, Nietzsche, right? A lot of people confuse Nietzsche with nihilism, because nihilism basically is just, how do I simplify that? Just throwing out morality, basically. Like religion and God, none of that really matters to humanity and the human existence and condition. But Nietzsche was, he definitely questioned God. He said that God was dead very famously, but he was relating that to society saying God is dead. He also had a lot of his principles taken and applied to Nazi Germany and the rise of the Third Reich. So a lot of Nietzsche's principles and thought get bastardized, but he was definitely cocky, but he was a very good thinker, man. Very sort of revolutionary, and has sort of defined a change in philosophy and sort of some of the changes in modern philosophy and the way things are examined. Right. God, I got to be quicker on this. Then we have Socrates, known as the father of philosophy, right? Greek philosopher. And we don't actually read Socrates' writings. We only know Socrates through Plato, who was one of his pupils and students. So Socrates, the Socratic method, analyzing, using the analytical knife, asking questions, breaking down things, the art of logic, the art of reasoning. Western thought was really born, and Western systems of rationalization came through Socrates and through the Greeks at the time. So hugely influential. And then the last one we have is Voltaire. Voltaire, if you are American, if you are a proud American of your Constitution, thank Voltaire for part of that as well, because Voltaire influenced our American thinkers, in the Age of Enlightenment, freedom of speech, individual rights, those type of things, French ways of thinking, result of Voltaire. Also very satirical. Right, bam, philosophy class over. Let's go.
Nietzsche, Socrates, and Voltaire. I'm coming off the Acropolis.
Ooh, I like this beat.
Don't bring limp raps to a pimp slap symposium.
So Socrates taught on the Acropolis, right? He was coming off of the Acropolis to wreak pandemonium. And don't bring your limp raps to a pimp slap symposium. So like a symposium, sort of relating to the theater of discussion. This symposium, he's a great orator. He was a great speaker, right? And then it's also the contradiction. So it's basically like saying, like, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. All right, don't bring that limp-ish around here when we're pimp slapping these thoughts and these hoes. This beat nice. I like this bass.
Don't bring limp raps to a pimp slap symposium. The mad gadfly. Philosophy was my invention. Rolling with the flyest nihilist. And me, they're French. And the whip.
Hey, the mad gadfly. Oh man, come on, definitions today. Gadfly is that's basically, no, you know what a gadfly is? The best way I can relate it to is like a modern day troll. Someone who just stirs ish up, likes to stir up the pot, like point to contradictions in society and question things and really get people thinking and get people's backs up. That's the best way I put it. And then he says philosophy was his invention, right? We talked about that too. And hang on, rolling with the flyest nihilist? ERB. Let's get our facts right, people. No, I disagree. Because Nietzsche was very critical of nihilism. He wrote about it often. Even though, I don't know, there is kind of a difference though between his thoughts, writings, and his actions, because a lot of his actions sort of hint that he did become nihilist in the end in the way that he carried himself. But anyways, he was very critical of nihilism. We don't need to jump into that. Let's go.
Pimp slap symposium. The mad gadfly. Philosophy was my invention. Rolling with the flyest nihilist. And me, they're French. We got the wisdom and the wit that even I couldn't question. Dropping Western medicine on these
That's so clever. We got the wisdom and the wit that even I couldn't question. Because what was Socrates known for? He was known for questioning things. He would just take your stance and just ask you a question, which would lead you to this and lead you to this. And he would just get you all convoluted and caught in these different logical traps. And he would use those questions to point out fallacies in your reasoning. That's a bar so far.
And the wit that even I couldn't question. Dropping Western medicine on these East infections. You've never been.
That was multitasking at its finest. I had to make sure my screen was recording because I was just going to cry right now. Dropping Western medicine on these yeast infections. Yeast infections. Is that a stretch for yeast infections? Feels like it could be. Because obviously there's always been sort of this Western critique of Eastern medicine and Eastern like naturalistic sort of therapy and herbal therapy and remedies versus the pure, cold-hearted calculation of science of getting things done.
Western medicine on these East infections. You've never been our type of mental brethren. We're better, better. This type of error.
Oh, you just gotta watch these and laugh, man. Better lovers. Pepe Le Pew. That's the Frenchman. Being, I don't know if Voltaire was known for it, but that's definitely like a French thing, very romantic way of speaking, Latin origin of the language. And then who was the, hang on, let's get this back. Right. Okay, yeah. Socrates obviously gave a lot of speeches. He conducted his logic and his teachings by word of mouth. And Nietzsche was a great thinker. All right, that's where all that applies. Let's go.
This type of arrogance is short.
Hang on. We pause a lot. You guys know that, right? It's a breakdown channel. If you say I pause too much, I will beat you over the head with your keyboard. I'm just kidding, kids. It's not true.
This type of error.
Better men. Western, Eastern. There's a certain Yeah, can I say it? I can say it. There's a stereotype about size of your Willy Wonka. and I take the better men as that. Like they got bigger, they got bigger penises.
This type of arrogance is sure to be expected from men who speak of wisdom with no clue of what respect is.
You Westerners are sloppy.
I like that. That's a great response right away. This type of arrogance, because that's really one of the key differences. I mean, we could get into the deeper logical structures behind it too, but really Western sort of philosophy and ideology is very individualistic, the freedoms and expressions of the individual, and, especially Nietzsche, like vaulting yourself and bending society to your will, versus the very communalism of sort of Eastern philosophy. In this case, all these Chinese philosophers, everybody's kind of in this together, finding your place in this world with the yin and yang, the balance of everything, respecting your ancestors, having this deep connection with everything around you. And they value discipline. They didn't really brag. They didn't show themselves off. They value discipline and humility.
From men who speak of wisdom with no clue of what respect is.
You Westerners are sloppy, needing discipline in life. You lack control of yourselves and of the mic.
We use precise strikes to disrupt your concentration. And you an ass whipping our descendants will honor for generations.
Hey, use precise strikes. That was Sun Tzu coming through, right? A little bit of art of war. He's going on you. And then the other two are kind of giving you sort of that balanced perspective about the patience, about respecting your ancestors, about true wisdom, right? What Westerners value as wisdom is different than what Eastern philosophy values for wisdom.
Patience.
And the present for living.
You never hold a candle
to the wisdom we've written.
Is that all their books? It was, wasn't it?
For living.
You never hold a candle
to the wisdom we've written.
The Analects, The Art of War, and I forgot.
And the present for living.
You never hold a candle.
This happened so quickly.
Wisdom.
Yeah, Tao Te Ching. That's right. Okay. All right. Got all the books. Sorry, that was just me being curious. And hold a candle. I might go out on a limb here. I could be wrong. But I feel like, didn't the Chinese invent candles? They invented paper. I think it would make sense they invented candles. It's got to be.
Patience.
And the present for living.
You never hold a candle
To the wisdom we've written.
Right, and also holding a candle, because in those times, to write something down, electricity wasn't invented, so you have to hold a candle to it. And then the saying, you'll never hold a candle, like you can't stack up, you can't stand up to us. Let's go!
I'll give you something you can bow and kowtow to.
The wisdom we've written.
I'll give you something you can bow and kowtow to. And I squat down and squeeze out a dow of poo and now too.
Oh no, a Tao of poo. So like the Tao, like we were talking about in Taoism before, the Tao is the way. And Star Wars, right? Let's connect this to the ERB Star Wars. I definitely think that George Lucas took his concepts of the Force from Taoism. Like the way and following this and feeling the Force. The Force is the Tao, basically. That's the best way I can relate to it. So he's making fun of the Tao, like a Tao of poo and squatting down. Oh my God. And also the squatting down. So I know this because I have been to China myself. I've been over to Asia. And one of the things that struck me when I had to go to the bathroom one time is I walk in and I go, where's the toilets? Like where do I sit? It's just a hole in the ground and you have to actually squat down. So he's definitely playing on that. Squatting down, having a Tao of poo. I'm missing something. And Winnie, yes. Winnie the Pooh, right? What was it? I can't remember the name of the book, but basically it taught the teachings of the Tao. I tried to simplify it. I tried to simplify it like for kids, like philosophy for kids being taught through the eyes of Winnie the Pooh, Taoism, so you could understand Eastern concepts.
Bow and kowtow to.
Oh, and a Tao is like bowing like really, really low, like showing respect, touching the floor for your ancestors, a kowtow.
I squat down and squeeze out a dow of poo and now too. You need to take control of the life you're giving. They call me Uber Mensch, 'cause I'm so driven.
Oh, that's dope, man. Again, the individualist Western thinking. Like you can control your situation. Rise up against fate. It's more like fatalist versus individualist expectations, isn't it? But Uber Mensch, I'm so driven, makes you think of Uber. But isn't Uber Mensch? Because Nietzsche talked about the Uber Mensch. It's like being superhuman. almost. And Hitler actually took that Übermensch to sort of justify the Aryan race, because they were Übermensch. But Nietzsche was talking about, you know, sort of bending fate and bending the world and the universe to your will and being a superior intellectual and human being. I love the delivery too. It's like, it's very German, you know, very in your face. Ugh.
So driven. Free thinker, so confronting conformists like you. It's my job. Got a sharp wit that can spit. It'll skewer you like a Confucius kebab.
Hey.
You fuck the mission.
Got a sharp wit that'll skewer you like a Confucius kebab, playing off of Confucius's name. I like that.
It's my job. Got a sharp wit that can spit. It'll skewer you like a Confucius kebab. You fuck the mission. I'm beating your submissive ass into submission. Dishing out more dishes and letters.
Clever. I'm beating your submissive ass into submission, because Confucius, you know, his way of teaching, again, like being subservient, respecting your ancestors and your elders, respecting authority figures and those in power, right? This sort of, we're all in this together, we're all this one community. He's making fun of that now. I like that.
The mission, I'm beating your submissive ass into submission.
I'm beating your submissive ass into submission. I went faster actually than he did, but what I want to highlight there is that flow switch. I love how he went faster in that pocket for a second before he came back out of it. One thing that's a little bit different between this and the Lego Star Wars is that I'm not noticing as many flow switches, but that's because these guys don't have the time. Like, they're only getting like 3 or 4 lines, so they'll probably stick to maybe like 1 or 2 flow switches, whereas before it was only 2 characters, so they had a lot more opportunity to do stuff with their flows and delivery. But I do love the personality that each is injecting into their cadence.
Like a Confucius kebab. You fuck the mission. I'm beating your submissive ass into submission. Dishing out more dishes and letters and pamphlets and plays have been published. Now that we've covered the 2 yin and yang.
Dishing out more disses. Because Voltaire wrote just like a crazy amount of plays and pamphlets. Like, we're talking thousands, people. This man drank like 70, 80 cups of coffee a day. I don't know how much, but he was hyped up on caffeine, bouncing around like a rabbit all day long, just writing nonstop. I mean, he was just a force to be reckoned with when it came to getting things done.
Dishing out more dishes and letters and pamphlets and plays have been published. Now that we've covered the 2 yin and yang, I can move on to Jackie Chan. So I'll be picking a poncho with my...
I like that. We like that around here. But also, wow, I just realized how bad I made myself look in front of camera. It's kind of racist too, isn't it? But what I like of what he did, obviously we're having a lot of ad hominem attacks here. You know, we're attacking the people. We're not necessarily attacking a lot of their philosophy and the foundations they stand on. This is more just like face value, like typical battle where you make fun of appearances and just attack everything about that person. So he talked about Confucius, and then obviously the Taoism, the yin and yang that we dealt with. So those 2 are out of the way. And now I'm dealing with you, Jackie Chan, Mr. Sun Tzu, military dude.
Covered the 2 yin and yang, I can move on to Jackie Chan. Sun Tzu, I'll be picking a poncho with my method. Man, the seminal general isn't so tough on the mic.
I missed something. I missed a couple things.
I
just thought about this.
I can move on to Jackie Chan. Sun Tzu, I'll be picking a poncho.
The 2 yin and yangs. Yin Yang Twins. That's a Yin Yang Twins hip-hop reference because he's got more here. He's got a Method Man reference, right? Picking apart your Method Man, your Wu, because Method Man was also a part of Wu-Tang Clan. Yin Yang Twins, Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man. Best verse so far. Love the wordplay. But also the Wu, because Sun Tzu talked about the Wu, and like Wu to Sun Tzu. That's kind of like Tao to Taoism, isn't it? And so he's picking apart your Wu, and wasn't... We all know Wuhan in China, but there's a Wu province. I think Sun Tzu was from Wu, too. Man, that's crazy clever lines.
We've covered the 2 yin and yang, I can move on to Jackie Chan. Sun Tzu, I'll be picking a poncho with my method. Man, the seminal general isn't so tough on the mic. All your men must be like you would have. You pitiful lyrically lucky for history, but you didn't offer the art of rapping. Bitch, I wrote the art of war.
Hey, he said it for me, right? The art of rapping. He's saying, you know, because everybody expects you to be this badass general, but your skills on the mic are lacking right now. So everybody's going to be like, wait, what's going on here? We thought you were vicious with the strikes, man. So he makes fun of that in his book, The Art of War.
You pitiful lyrically lucky for history, but you didn't offer the art of rapping. Bitch, I wrote the art of war, so you better get your guns out.
Ooh. I like this flow switch. One more time. Build, kick. Check this out. Then we just drop down and get more bassy with it. That's cool.
so you better get your guns out. These white boys getting burned, cause guess what? Not a sun's
Woo.
out. Asians spitting sick, but no, this is...
That's hot. That's hot. Because the sun's out. Like the sun outside. White boys, I mean, look how pale I am. I'm like Casper the Friendly Ghost, people. White boys getting burned. We need to get that tan. Right? He's saying he's got a nice complexion. He's got a nice skin color. He's got that natural tan already. Right? But also Sun Tzu is coming out. These white boys getting burned. He wrote The Art of War, not The Art of Rapping. Get your guns out. And the Chinese invented gunpowder. Clever lines.
Boys getting burned, cause guess what? Not a sun's out. Asians spitting sick, but no, this isn't ours. Loud C, kick the beat, not Confucius, drop some bars. Let me be Candide with you, Voltaire. French strip with the egg noodle hair. Your ego's
Is he beatboxing? Wow, he's beatboxing.
some bars. Let me be Candide with you, Voltaire. French strip with the egg noodle hair. Your ego's just so distracted.
Oh, I love that beatboxing. I didn't pay attention to the lyrics. I gotta try one more time. Sorry, guys.
But no, this isn't SARS. Loud C, kick the beat.
We get the SARS. And obviously, in current times, he could have dropped a Corona bar too.
Not Confucius, drop some bars. Let me be Candide with you, Voltaire. French strip with...
Let me be candid. Like being candid with someone, just being upfront. Let me be blatantly honest. But also, very clever again, because Voltaire wrote Candid, which was a satire. Also makes me think of a current modern day Voltaire who uses a lot of satire with his raps. I'm talking about Tom MacDonald.
Kick the beat, not Confucius, drop some bars. Let me be Candide with you, Voltaire. French strip with the egg noodle hair. Your ego's just so distracted.
French drip with the egg noodle hair. Saying like someone's got drip, someone's got swag. But also the French drip. Military history time. World War II times, wasn't it? Because like Germans occupied France, and then when the Allies liberated, there was a lot of STDs that went around because a lot of women wanted to be liberated as well. And it was called the French drip. So he's basically saying that Voltaire is like a STD. And that's a triple that Knox just caught before I hit play again. Because French drip, also like, you know, French dip makes me think of, but like the drip off of it, off of a French stick, dipping. Au jus sauce. Yeah, my mind just went there. Back to play.
Let me be Candide with you, Voltaire. French strip with the egg noodle hair. Your ego's just so distracting. Free speech doesn't mean just keep yapping.
Yeah.
You killed God, so I gotta ask. Did he die your shame when he made your mustache? You trying to plan a new...
Oh, he's firing shots at everyone right now. Hey, I like that. And this beatboxing is sick, man. Right? Did you kill God with your mustache? Ouch. That one's gotta hurt. And like we said, Nietzsche famously said that God is dead. But what he meant was that society has made God dead. Not literally God is dead. Anyways. And then Voltaire, free speech. Again, his principles shaped our Constitution. So he's saying free speech doesn't just mean say what you want. Try to say something productive here, bro.
Doesn't mean just keep yapping. You killed God, so I gotta ask. Did he die your shame when he made your mustache? You try to plan a new German psyche, but you just grew hate me. No, they're right. And it all starts with you. You're the father.
I thought, honestly, because of Socrates' verse, I was giving it to the West. But this last sort of bars that have just been fired off, oh, the pendulum has swung to the east now. The pendulum has swung to the east. This is getting nasty. Me no Third Reichy. Again, how can I say this without just sounding like a terrible human being? So... a lot of times when, like, you know, Chinese and Asians try to say English, the L's and the R's get you know, they run into each other. So instead of saying like likey, it sounds like Reiki. You know, like the L is pronounced as an R. Reiki. The fuck was that, Knox? That was just that was a terrible example. I should stop speaking right now. But you get what I'm saying, okay? You get what I'm saying there. So he's playing off of that. So in a way, he's kind of dissing himself, but he's taking that stereotype and he's flipping it back onto them. I love when you can take a diss, sort of like we saw Eminem in 8 Mile, when you attack yourself and then you use that and wear it as body armor and make yourself bulletproof and then throw it back on the other person. So, again, the shots at the Third Reich. Hitler, Nazi Germany, they were called the Third Reich. That was the third great German kingdom that came to being. The German nation came into existence, all influenced by Nietzsche, is what he's saying there.
You try to plan a new German psyche, but you just grew hate me. No, they're right. And it all starts with you.
Ooh, another nice beat switch.
Honestly, I think you owe both of your students here an apology.
your students an apology. Socrates gave a great speech, the apology that Plato wrote. That's dope. That's dope. That's a double.
To your students here an apology.
I wouldn't exactly call myself a student of this plebe. Don't make Nietzsche come over.
And that's clever too, of this plebe. Like being plebeian, being one of the lower class in Greek society. So he's saying Socrates is the lower class. Why would I be a student of him? But also, you know, that word has made its way all the way through history. And that's where the roots of it started. But now when we call someone like a pleb or a plebe, you know, you're a newbie, you're a pleb. Yeah, that's nice.
Apology.
I wouldn't exactly call myself a student of this plebe. Don't make Nietzsche come over and put a knee up in your tree. 'Cause I'm N-I-E.
Knee up in your G. You can't see my knee because I'm not that flexible. Wow. Nope, don't do it. Don't do it. So, you know, like your chi, again, this sort of oneness, this force, your inner chi that we all have. We all have this inner energy that we possess within ourselves. And he's taking that, and he's just flipping it up on its head. Again, very German style, man. Just blunt and to the point. Smash your face in.
Don't make Nietzsche come over and put a knee up in your tree. 'Cause I'm N-I-E-T-C-S-C-H-E. And I'll ain't any motherfucker like my name in a spelling bee. I'm toxic like a...
As a bar. That's clever. And I love when he's spelling out his name, like there's a bunch of him that are appearing. Again, there's just so much to break down. I can't even talk about the visuals. Dope visuals happening too to complement some of these punchlines. Like just visual accompaniment to these punches, man. It's so clever and it's so true, isn't it? Like you just can't spell Nietzsche's name based on how it sounds and how it's said compared to how it's actually spelled.
I'll ain't any motherfucker like my name in a spelling bee. I'm toxic like a hemlock sip. Hang a sandal on the...
Oh, and now he just took a diss towards him and flipped it. I'm toxic like a hemlock sip. Because then they made him drink poison. That's what they did. They gave Socrates the option. You either leave the city, leave Athens, or you have to kill yourself. And he actually chose to drink the poison and kill himself for the sake of truth. We'll talk about that a little bit later because that's kind of a contradiction with all of his teachings. But anyways.
A spelling bee. I'm toxic like a hemlock sip. Hang a sandal on the door 'cause you can suck dick.
Ooh. Oh, he's getting dirty. It's getting dirty now. You know when you take a sock and you put it on the door when you're back in college because kind of getting things on, aren't you? That's basically what he's saying there. And in his times, he didn't have socks. So instead, when he was getting the dirty on, he had a sandal that he put on the door. Deal with that.
Hang a sandal on the door 'cause you can suck dick. Socrates, you're making things a little tense. Come, let's blind these Chinese heinies with some shiny bright...
What is Sun Tzu doing? He's just like creeping in the background there. Check this out.
Socrates, you're making things a little tense. Come, let's blind these Chinese heinies with some shiny bright enlightenment. I'll not be taught... Come...
Voltaire, the Age of Enlightenment, and the new wave of thinking that he brought with him. I like that play on words, like shine a light, enlighten, light, double.
Come, let's blind these Chinese heinies with some shiny bright enlightenment. I'll not be taught camaraderie from a frog who rigged the lottery. You make a mockery of ethics, so...
I've heard a lot of Brits use this. Americans don't know it as well, but the French definitely get called frogs. Because when they talk, it's kind of croaky in their voices, so it's just a generalization of French people. You call them French froggies. So he's taking that, he's using it. There's a lot of low blows and sort of lowbrow humor that's being used here.
I'll not be taught camaraderie from a frog who rigged the lottery. You make...
Oh yeah, that's right. And Voltaire actually rigged the lottery because didn't the French government like totally fucked up when it came to bonds and everything, and then they tried to do like a lottery buy-in system worth the same value as the bonds, and then Voltaire linked up with a mathematician to figure out that they weren't like doing equal weighted value for things. So you could buy a bunch of the lesser bonds and just have more entries into the lottery and kind of rig it.
Mockery of ethics, so keep your fat nose in your coffee. Let me be frank, don't start beef with B. Frank. Who hangs with B. Franks? Giving ladies B. Franks.
I have turned them on them.
Oh, that's good. That's real good. Look at this picture, please. Editing me, leave this picture up. Sun Tzu. He's behind the pillar. What's going on, people?
Of ethics, so keep your fat nose in your coffee. Let me be frank, don't start beef with B. Frank.
Okay, let me be frank. Let me be frank and to the point. But also French originated from the Franks, Frank culture, right? There's that Frank scheme. But also Voltaire was a pseudonym that wasn't his actual name. Wasn't it like his last name flipped around, I think? Oh, wow. Eminem is like Voltaire too, isn't he? Anyways, so he's got that. And then also his name was Frank or something like that. Frank was a part of his name. I got that. And then the B Franks is Benjamin Franklin, who he was close with. And then we talked about the USA constitutional influence. What's the coffee? Oh, yeah. What am I thinking? He drank a ton of coffee. We said that too.
Keep your fat nose in your coffee. Let me be frank. Don't start beef with B Frank. Who hangs with B Franks? Giving ladies B Frank.
Nice.
I have turned them on themselves. They're
Giving ladies B Franks. B Franks is in hot dogs. They give ladies their sausages.
Who hangs with B Franks? Giving ladies B Frank.
I have turned
Sexy chicken. Camera died, as you know. We're back.
them on themselves. Their chaos is our opportunity.
You must remember, a bowl is most useful when it is empty.
Lao Tzu, I don't mean no disrespect, but you need to fill your bowl with some shit that makes some sense.
Oh,
I like that because it's like, hey, I confuse the enemy. I turn them on themselves. Very Art of War-esque from Sun Tzu. But then Lao comes in and I think that is a direct quote from the Tao, isn't it? From Taoism. Is a bowl is most useful when it's empty, right? Because there's just limitless potential and possibilities. How's he applying it? I guess he's applying it to them because now their bowls are empty because they're so focused on each other. Let's take advantage of that and their conflict. Yeah, but you get how it's said. It can be very confusing. Like Chinese teachings are like this, man. They can be interpreted in so many ways. Like, which is funny because Western philosophy gets ridiculed for, the art of rhetoric and confusing people, and you can just say stuff and have a lot of fluff with what you say, whereas Chinese is very direct. But at the same time, even though it's direct and it's short and it's simple and it's to the point with a lot of these teachings, because a lot of these things are very shortened, very, like haiku style almost. That's a very Eastern philosophy. But also while it's shortened, there's still a lot of stuff that can just be taken so many ways.
Mean no disrespect, but you need to fill your bowl with some shit that makes some sense.
oh, you don't wanna stand in the path of Lao Tzu. Today I'll make you move, bitch. Get out the way.
Yeah, wearing
Did we just get Ludacris in here? We just got Luda as a shout out. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Oh my God. In the way, because the way is the Tao. Get out the way. Clever.
Today I'll make you move, bitch. Get out the way.
Yeah, wearing the tradition of rap battles. Is it written that two dudes on the same team should squabble like some clucking chicken?
I think best flows come from the dude who's playing Confucius, man. He's got some really nice flows. And I would probably say in terms of overall flows on that technical side, the Eastern side just got a little bit more oomph to some of the ish that they're dropping. This is a nice pocket. Some clucking chickens.
Confucius, you always trying to put something in its place. Why don't you tell your eyebrows they need to feel better on your face?
Oh.
Okay,
I don't know what Confucius looked like, but I guess it's like this man had just some big ass eyebrows. So, all right. But Confucius also like system, order, discipline, putting things in their place. Again, I like how they're taking the principles of some of their teachings and they're flipping it on themselves as disses. It's clever.
why don't you tell your eyebrows they need to feel better on your face? Okay, I see. You wanna make it like that? I'll smack that warmongering head out of your to-go box hat. So here's the real code.
Oh, like a Chinese to-go box. Okay. All right. We got some more race disses going on in here. But also warmongering, because again, Sun Tzu, Art of War, he's a warmonger.
Like that, I'll smack that warmongering head out of your to-go box hat. So here's the real golden rule. I'm way above you.
Hey, the Confucius golden rule. The golden rule of Confucius. Which basically boils down to, isn't it like, treat others how you want to be treated? It's massively simplified. He said it in different words, but it's like that.
Head out of your to-go box hat. So here's the real golden rule. I'm way above you weak rookies. Confucius say you can all hold these fortune cookies.
What is winning? Who is next? Yoga-san! Epic! Warrior! Rock bottles of history!
Timothy Delgado, KRNFX. I don't know any of these people. MC Jin. Hey, MC Jin had flow, bro. Directed by Nice Peter. Epic Lloyd was in it. Zach Shurin. Okay. So Nice Peter was Nietzsche. Zach Sherwin was Voltaire. And Epic Lloyd was Socrates. What a way to end it. You can basically hold his balls, he's saying, but he related them to fortune cookies. That's the real golden rule. But that's not actually factually correct, because fortune cookies were invented in San Francisco. In Western Chinese food and takeaway Chinese as we know it is not like actual Chinese food. Trust me, I know this one from experience. But anyways, man, I tell you what, I hope you guys enjoy these reactions. They're fun for me. Like, I definitely don't take them as seriously, you know, as like when I'm doing an Eminem reaction. Like, I still break a lot down, obviously, but I'm just going to have fun, man. I want to just enjoy these and do something totally different and just have a ride. Hopefully, we all can learn something from it. I think it's a really cool concept to just take different points of history. And again, you really got to be well learned on some of this stuff. And I'm glad I picked this one because, you know, of my background and studying some things in philosophy and taking a few classes, man, that definitely helped me with this one. Because otherwise, wow, a lot would have flown over, man. And I don't know why this is making me think of that, but my only critique is a lot of these times these just turn to like character attacks. Like we just made fun of physical appearances, which is fine, which happens in a rap battle. But since it was like philosophers, I was kind of hoping maybe we go a little deeper on some things and not just attack like the stereotypical, you know, Western is individualist, Eastern is more about togetherness. Like I thought we would have maybe dove deeper into like some of the fallacies and some of the logical things that you could point out behind the systems and behind the way some of these philosophers think. Like for instance, Socrates, right? One of the greatest contradictions of Socrates is that he sat here and he gave us the Western world of thinking, and the Greeks were so influential with that, with this rational scientific method and system and analytical process. And while Socrates argued for the truth and argued against these sophists who were about the greater good, right? And he didn't want humans to get so caught up in their emotions. You know, it was less about emotions and subjective reality versus objective, external, actual reality to him. And he was so against like human passions because he saw them as setbacks. And yet at the end of the day, when he was given the choice, the rational thinker, right, could have left Athens and stayed alive. Very rational. Continue your teachings. Continue living. He instead took the route of passion and decided to kill himself, essentially, because he made that choice. And Plato argued against the sophists for so long, and they were the enemies. But actually, when you look at Socrates' teachings and what he was pursuing, he was kind of pursuing the same thing as the sophists. But I'm definitely diving deeper into it. Socrates was a sophist. And I'm saying that because a book that I read, if you guys like this, if any of this interests you, I'm sure some of you philosophy people might be watching this, but Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, a really cool book, a really great book. I highly recommend. I think what's really cool is that it looks at Western philosophy and Western rational systems of thinking, compares it to the Eastern, and, you know, instead of it being so contradictory, what Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance sort of proposes and does is it unites the two. And it proposes a way of living where you take the good values from this and the good values from this and you can combine them. Like they're not mutually exclusive, which is really cool. So anyways, just a side recommendation from Knox. But as far as this battle goes, if I got to pick a winner, I'm going to go with the East. I'm going to go with the East. Some great punchlines from the West. Great wordplay. But the East, man, I love some of the flows better. And yeah, I think overall they just had more harder hitting disses, but that was still great. That was still great throughout. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think won? Comment down below. But anyways, epic rap battles, you were Knox Hill certified. So hope you guys liked today's video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. Comment down below any other ERBs you want to see me do, or if there's other artists you want to see me check out. I try to read all of your comments, guys. I respond as much as I can, so please keep commenting and keep posting. Also, don't forget to subscribe, notifications on. If you were somehow here at the end of this long-ass video, do me a favor, hit that sub button. Also, you might think you're subscribed, but something happened with the algorithm, so just double check that below. As always, this is your reminder to stay safe, to stay positive. It's Knox Hill, and I'll catch you in the next vid. I'm out.